Right where you are, you're good. Okay, you two switch. Rita, is it recording? Are we in the shot? Hi, this is Mike Dupree, and I'm here today with Henrique Matias. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you very much. So, what I'm trying to do today is I just wanted to get a little bit of a brief history of your involvement in the Bitcoin community and space. And I wanted to start by asking what was the first meetup or conference or event that you ever attended in Bitcoin? And if you don't remember the exact name of the conference, do you know approximately when and where it was?
I would say the first time I really felt was something cool was back in the day when I've been to a few workshops about Solidity on Ethereum. That was even before people were developing Solidity publicly. Um, that was definitely a memorable one. Was the first time I realized that people involved were not only developers. I saw a lot of people philosophizing about solutions and all sorts of game theories on the space, and I was really blown away.
Around what year do you think that was?
That's a tough one. Maybe 2014, maybe, yeah, something maybe between 14, 15, something like this.
So here we are in 2019, and obviously, when you look at the community today and the society today surrounding Bitcoin, it's greatly changed. It's no longer just. Actually, I think in this whole conference we're at here today at the BTC Barcelona trading event, I don't think there's probably any developers here at all.
That is shocking. Yeah, at the beginning, there would be mostly people interested in the tech and then how things work in a very technical approach. And the conventions and tickets were either free or really cheap and affordable. I think real people could come.
Well, nobody was really making any money yet off of crypto.
Yeah, funny. I mean, if they would know what the future was, they would have made tons of money, right? Because people were buying Ethereum for 30 cents, $1. I don't think they knew they had the lottery ticket in their hands. I definitely didn't.
Well, I'm with you in that one. I wish if I could have gone back, I would have never spent one Bitcoin I ever earned or bought.
Same. Ether and Bitcoin. If I could go back, it would be just buy forever, never sell, never do anything. I think during this time, making nothing was the best move. No move was the best move, for sure.
You just never know, though. You just never know. So, aside from these workshops, are there any other events that you went to that really stand out in your mind? Maybe one specific instance of a party at an event or a speech at an event or something funny that happened?
I would say one thing that I'll never forget was one Bitcoin event. I went in London, and Roger Ver was there, and the guys from Wirex were there. Wirex was just starting. I remember making my first card with them back then. There are just some random dudes I met there. And even Roger Ver had such a small profile compared to today. He was like literally just walking, talking to people, handling cards. He was crying, talking about how Bitcoin was changing the world. It was a very crazy moment for me. I remember somebody asking on the crowd, somebody who was new for sure. They were like, Bitcoin is being used for crimes and drug deals. And then somebody was like, yeah, just like the US dollar for the last, I don't know how many hundred years or whatever.
I mean, statistically, I'm not going to mention any fiat in specific, but euros or dollars or pounds are probably used for buying more drugs and weapons every day than all of the Bitcoin combined in a year because we just don't have enough market capital. I mean, types of money don't prevent crime. It's really criminals are criminals either way.
Exactly. I think there's two aspects that it's a big misunderstanding. One is that a lot of times people come with questions as if technology would solve human problems. And technology, they don't solve human problems. They are like tools, like a hammer or a screwdriver. They can help solving problems being an easier task. They can be the perfect tool for solving a problem, but ultimately a human have to go there and decide to solve the problem and then solve. But I think that's a big misconception when people from, let's say, outside of the crypto world come with questions. They come as if we had the solution for humanity. That we're not solving humanity, we're just creating tools that allow people to solve certain problems easier and faster, but still ultimately we need to want to solve those issues. And that's one big thing. And the other big thing, since we got into the topic, it's how a lot of people come and they do questions about how Bitcoin is mined, how many exists, where can I buy, who controls that. But before this, they never made those questions about euro or pounds or dollars or Japanese yen. And if they would wake up every day,
Well, we already know the answer. Like in USA, they just have giant printers. That's how many they make, and how many will there ever be? Well, I don't know when the printer runs out of ink. I mean, these are legitimate questions, I guess.
yeah, I think one thing that crypto definitely did for me, and I hope it makes for everyone, is you don't do those questions only against Bitcoin, but you do those questions for euro, for pounds, for dollars. Who prints? How much is printed? Who decides when it happens? What's the rate of printing? Because those are genuine and legitimate questions, but you have to make them for all currencies. And then hopefully you realize why Bitcoin and crypto is a solution for many of the issues you find, because those issues, they exist everywhere. Of course, exists in crypto somehow, but in a more, let's say, more future-proof way.
Just to clarify a little bit, though, I think what you're trying to say also here is that, Bitcoin is not anonymous, no so more than any form of cash is. And actually, if you want to be able to account for your Bitcoins and you want to be able to follow the laws and stuff like this, Bitcoin is not enabling people to be criminals. It is only a technical solution that solves some problems. Criminals are going to be criminals either way. Bitcoin has nothing to do with that. You have a kind of a comment on that?
Yeah, for sure, that's definitely true. Criminals gonna be criminals anyway. People will buy drugs anyway. That's just a constant in society, right? Uh, we cannot stop technology because of those. We cannot use those issues as an excuse to make technology grow slow.
It's
Forward.
not technology's job to police the citizens.
Yeah, I think coming on the topic again about Bitcoin not being more anonymous than money is actually the opposite. It's less anonymous than money, because if you simply do a Bitcoin transaction to someone, someone's going to be able to see your balance, and you don't have that with cash. So in anonymity is actually sometimes worse than money.
I think Bitcoin's actually perfectly traceable as long as you're willing to provide the information.
Yes, and I think that's the beauty of it, right? You can create an account anonymously and keep it just for yourself, and just yeah, have your financial privacy. I think since we're touching this privacy issue, one one thing that I think will really blow people's minds. They are generally complaining about the privacy on social networks, like, oh, Facebook knows where I eat, Facebook knows this, or somebody can see this information, but they barely think about their financial privacy. So let's say when they have a debit card and they buy something in the shop.
Oh, for sure. American Express knows more about me than I do.
Exactly. So
They can tell if somebody borrows my card, like I lend my card to my girlfriend or to a friend to go buy something. American Express immediately knows the spending pattern is different because it's not how I normally spend. So they literally know where I spend, how I spend. They know more about me than I do. So does Amazon. So does Google, which are services that are only providing free services.
exactly. So I think cryptocurrencies will be there waiting for all these people to awaken for the real privacy issues, namely the banks knowing where you are, what you spend on, and secondly, the government being able to request this data, which is obviously way more important than your Instagram or Facebook feeds. And that just goes to show how asleep people are, because people make a big buzz, a big fuss about this Facebook information leak, or like this, what's the name of the Cambridge Analytica, looking at people's behaviors on elections. This is nothing compared to all this money data, this cards data. This is absolutely nothing. Like,
Really, in the end, this data is, this conference we're currently at is put on for free, and the sponsors are a CRM company. And basically what they're demonstrating here is that it's more valuable to take people's data that are interested in Bitcoin than it is to have people pay a ticket price. Did you notice that when you were attending this BTC Barcelona training show?
I think conferences nowadays the first thing it's a very let's say suspect area now because there's a lot of conferences who are actually just profiting from sponsors and tickets or something, and it turns out that the content is not as good as it could be because the conference itself is making money. So
And their primary focus is making money.
yes, I think that's a big issue on this space, and you can note, as you said, you can note this big time just by looking how people dress. There is so many people looking like bankers and interested from a financial point of view. You can.
Are you saying that I was supposed to put a clean shirt on for the conference today?
No, it's exactly the opposite. There is so many people coming just from a business perspective. It feels like it's of course a positive side as well to it. Not everything is negative, but
Well, it's about mass adoption in the end. If we want mass adoption, we're eventually going to have to get some people with suits to come in and help us look important to the rest of the world, or however you want to say it.
yeah, absolutely, yeah, for sure. We need people who are connected to the legacy system to bridge us. That's for sure. But I remember many years ago, the motivation was pretty clear. It was like a bunch of let's put it this way, a bunch of nerds looking on how to solve a lot of society issues. While today there is a little bit, the density of this kind of people is much less.
There's really a lot less innovation in general. I see, especially at this conference, for example, there's a lot of basically the same kind of offerings, mainly people selling stuff. I don't think, again, I said this earlier, but I don't think I've ran into one developer or one programmer or any kind of actual serious technical person yet in the 2 days.
Yeah, I think you're talking to one of the developers, so you found one at least.
This is the primary purpose of my podcast, is I'm trying to analyze kind of how the industry has changed over the last 5 years in the community, how the conferences have changed. So with that being said, really thank you very much for being on my show. And do you know what the next conference that you're going to attend will be?
Thank you very much for the interview. We are not exactly sure yet. I know there will be another one of these in London in November. We are considering also one in September in Singapore. Yeah, we are not completely sure yet. If you allow me to do a shameless promotion, come to aluna.social. It's just https /aluna.social, and you find our community, which is based on trading data, transparency. We're trying to help this space have more transparency when it comes to track records of traders, calls. We are online already. We are solving problems that exist already. We're not trying to sell you anything.
It's really excellent.
In the future.
I would really love to, if you have some more time in the future, maybe when I see you at the next conference, to do another follow-up with you and to hear some more of your experiences over the years at the different Bitcoin conferences and the differences you notice in the way that people are dressing, acting, the types of people that are attending, and this kind of stuff. Really, really thank you for your time.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thank you, and yeah, I'll see you soon. Thank
I
you.
hope so.